This is weird. This is really weird. Alright, we're back. You're back. Someone's back. I've got this cut off to expose the wood. I just kind of arbitrarily picked a spot there. And then the angle grinder kind of dictated the rest. I cut it away in sections, and then I'm just going to lop off this bottom one here, and then I'll go about figuring out how to reconstruct. Of course, I got templates and numbers and stuff, but yeah, I don't know what the right thing is there. I think I just keep going and figure it out as I go. Here, I got one piece, I got two pieces made. This one still has to get glued in there. And then one more, that last one's a taper. But I think it's gonna hold together. Yeah, that'll be fine. There we go. Let's see how that holds up. Alright, and we got this. Ooh, that's bright. Alright, so we got this in. I don't 100% remember where I left off. I just spliced some wood into there, some ash. Should be good. That's, well, it's there. And I think next on the agenda is I got to pull that floorboard out because I want to clean up in here and just give it a quick prime and paint. Got some stuff masked off. I'm just trying to I need to get that pillar back in there because I think in order to change that board, you know, that pillar kind of half supports this here and the wood half supports it, and like there's no main support. It's just kind of like everything together creates the strength, and it's weird. But I think in order for me to lift the body up on that corner, I really want to put that pillar in. So there's that. Because I have to support that whole corner, and I think that'll keep everything from moving if that's kind of bolted back in place. But it's got to come back out because we're not done with this yet. So shell game here a little bit. All right, so we're working out this A-pillar support thing here, and I honestly don't know how people get all of the pits out of some of this stuff. I mean, with this one, you know, you could do it, right? There's plenty to grind down into, but you know, something like this, like I don't know, like some of that stuff, like you'd weaken the piece so much. Here's the profile for the C-pillar. I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but it doesn't look uniform. It looks like it takes a nice gentle radius up here, and then it takes a pretty dramatic return. So, yeah, I think it'd be easier if it was symmetrical, but yeah, might be out of my league on this one. We'll figure something out. I'm working on the front half of the frame and the firewall floorboards, and look how bad this is over here. Look how bad that is. Like, that's basically what I've been working with this whole time. But this is kind of like extra crispy, I feel like, because this here, like even this, like this is really thick right here, and this is rotted out in more than one location. So, but yeah, we're moving along. I just got tar over there, and I'm not going to do a hell of a lot more than just schmatter it around, because I don't know what difference it would make. I got all the flammable crap off there that's all falling apart, and that was the big thing. And then I'm just, where there's no tar, I'm doing down to the metal. I just wanted to kind of get a little bit of perspective on, like, what I'm up against here, because it's dismal. I mean, it's nasty. It feels good when you start to get it cleaned up, though. But you really got to push through it to get there. You really got to push through with this one. But yeah, and again, when I say that there's gonna have to be some compromises made, like, that's why, because if you don't make some compromises, like, this just doesn't happen. And I'm just trying to make compromises that are, more on the externals than the parts that are buried, really. All right, so we got that out. It was hard to get that out. And again, you try to do it in one piece so you don't lose your pattern. Yeah, I'm just opening this up so I can continue cleaning, but let's take a quick look here at the Wizard. This is the Wizard here, and what this does is it pulls in your clutch when you're, so you don't have to push that long lever all the way in once the car is running. So, as you can see, there's an awful lot happening here. There's the booster, or I should say there's the actuator that would pull it in down there. This is the solenoid valve, and the vacuum switch is over on the, or it's not a vacuum switch, it's just the switch that actuates that valve. And I'm not sure what that part is there. I think I remember seeing that there was some kind of a inertial sensor, like a pendulum, in this thing somewhere, so maybe that's what that is. And it runs off a vacuum, and we'll have to take a closer look at how that works, but it's pretty complicated, and I'm going to take all of that out, and I'm going to just set it aside in a box, and maybe down the road someday we'll get into that, but there's way too much to do to worry about living in that kind of a luxury. Another interesting thing is we had a freeze plug that was apparently changed right there. It had to be a very, very, very long time ago, because all this stuff was back on and rusted on tightly. So yeah, that's what you do when there's a bad freeze plug. All you're going to do is you want to start drilling holes. So you're going to drill a hole, and you're going to see the water start coming out, right? It'll stop. It'll stop right there. Here you go. You're going to start drilling the holes around the hole you drill. It just got to be pretty. You're never going to see it. You're never going to see it. It's all going to be all under the stuff. And so then what you do is you keep drilling. You're going to want to get a box of Band-Aids for this. Get the big ones. And you keep going. You drill your holes. You keep drilling your holes. You drill your holes until you make a hole out of your holes. And you can get right back at a freeze plate. You get the one in there. You just bada bing, bada boom. You send it down the road. Bob's your uncle. You're good to go. That's how you do that. And here's the center part. I guess the center front floorboard transmission cover. It's pretty buggered up, but it's really thick, so I might be able to just, like, something like that I don't have any problem cob jobbing, because it's really not that hard to get to. And there's its felt piece of deterioration. And this is the floorboard for the driver. This is really bad. This is the button for the Wizard. And there's a lot happening there that I don't even want to think about. But yeah, this is plywood, so we had plywood in this car. Not a very complicated piece to make right there, fortunately. That's more time, but once everything is, new hardware, that comes apart like nothing. So I'll tell you, the Wizard's not going back in though. That is really not easy to take apart. When you would just have to see it. But this is the kind of thing we got going on when I'm cleaning. That's draped up over the roof. I'm at the point where I got to go in and get something to cover the engine with, because dust is going to start getting forward now. I have like a barrier wrapped around under there, and it seals up pretty good. It kind of goes around the side, and it works. There we go. This is the shot you want right here. So I guess it's a little bit better under here than the back, but it still feels like the same shitty motel. Yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding away. I gotta look at that clutch too at some point. That's something I just hope it hangs in there for a little while. Look at this battery cable, by the way. Alright, we'll do a quick update here. I'm in the middle of grinding, cleaning, and doing all that fun stuff. I thought this was kind of interesting. See that right there? And then you see that other one right there. That travels all the way up and around the cowl, and there's a nut on the bottom of it. And I think that's used to put like a preload around the cowl. That kind of helps give it its shape and pull it in a little bit. So it might be handy if we gotta do an adjustment after we're done here, if things walk a little bit. See if that actually works. It's starting to get there. I'm just kind of moving that tar around with the wire wheel. Not a lot else I can do with it. I think I'm getting close to maybe taking this out so I can kind of finish up this stage of it. Just get this front part of the frame and this side cleaned up. There's the Wizard. And I think, like we thought, that's probably the pendulum. If we can see it. Maybe we can even see it quick. There it is. There it is. It's kind of frozen up right now, but it looks like you can't really see it, but there's a cylinder in there. That this must be like some kind of a combination valve thing, and I don't know what these pistons do necessarily. And then there's this. That'll be fun to take apart someday. I don't think anything's ever given me so much problem with rust as this piece. Like, this has been really hard. This is the center post. So I've got some pits on it there and some holes. And I've got some lead. And I'm just going to see if I can make it work. There's people that say you got to use rosin core. There's people that say never use rosin core. There's people that say use acid core, and then there's other people that say never use acid core. Yeah, I give up. I'm just gonna use, I got some, what the hell do I got? I got 3070, which is I think the standard. And I got some pre-tinning flux that's for pipes, And I got acid core solder and just screw it. You know, sometimes there's only one way to find out if it's gonna work, and that's just to do it. If it screws up, I got a spare one. So, be a good thing to practice on. This here, because I can move it around, I don't gotta really do so much that thing to like bat it in with a piece of hardwood. No, I mean, I guess I should say, like, I've never done this before, but I've got a lot of rolls of solder. I've been soldering for a long time, but electronics, not this stuff. And pipes. That's doing a nice job already, just with the pre-set. See, now it's getting black. I kind of see why they tell you to bat it in, because it's just carbonizing really quick if you don't. Wet, wet, wet. Come on. Wet. Thank you. And then you get the fuck away from it. That's not bad. I gotta say, that is not bad. It was not as tricky as I thought it was gonna be. Now we'll see if it holds up. And then I'll clean it up while it's still warm quick, and then we'll take another look at it. All right, this came out pretty good. I do feel like this is where us electronics guys kind of got a leg up on you body guys. Yeah, I kind of missed this here, I guess. I filled the other ones in. I don't really care about that. The reason I wanted to do this was to strengthen it more than anything else. I don't really care too much about, it's the back. But you know what is neat is like I burned through and I ended up having a few holes there. And so just by tinning it from the back, or letting it from the back, I mean, it really made a couple of nice little sweet fill spots for me there. I'm not going to do in here because I have to, you'd have to sand that, and you don't sand lead, you file it. So you don't turn it into like particulate form and die. So, but this here is like, you can barely feel it. So I think the primer is going to do fine in there. And what I ended up doing with this at the end was I put it in that evaporust stuff over there, and I left it in for a few days. And then you still got to work it. You still have to wire brush everything out. But like if you could see this in real light, like those pits are reflective on the inside. So the rust is gone. Like the rust is out of there. But I had to do this part of it before I could prime it and make the insert. So I'll probably just file that down a little bit and call it good. I don't really care. It's the back, right? It's the back of the piece, so it doesn't matter. But now it's got some strength back to it, and those holes are kind of encapsulated with some lead. So I probably will rub this down quick with some baking soda and water just to try to like neutralize out any of the acid that was in the solder, or the flux for that matter. There's probably acid in that flux. I didn't really look at it that close, but yeah, that should neutralize it good enough. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think that's going to be fine. You can even see where it creeped down the side a little. Solder wicks, right? So, I mean, I guess if you let it, it would wick into all those holes, and you could probably just tin the whole thing, and it would serve you. But I just don't know. Like, I don't want to put it anywhere where me or anybody else is going to potentially run a DA across it. So I think I'm just going to kind of keep it on areas that really necessary, and then use a little bit of filler or whatever else. There's a few too many blemishes on this car to go around patching metal and everywhere that it's not perfect. So Like, this is the video killer. Like, that thing has stopped so much video from happening. It just creates this wind tunnel because it's got this gigantic blower on the back. Like, really oversized for the garage. And I think if you live in the Northeast, you want a lot of heat in your shop. I've done it too many years. We're just the salamander, and it just hurts and it stinks. I think we're gonna call this one a wrap. We'll get in some new footage soon. I'll just keep recording this as I go. But I did clean up the transmission and stuff in here, and I recorded it because it looked cool with all the degreaser washing the crud away, but the camera audio didn't work, and of course, it's just getting stupid. But we're getting good in here. We're almost getting to the point where I can't do a lot more with the firewall, and this side of the frame's almost done, and that side of the frame is a little bit harder. It's hard getting in those holes with, here's a good one to use. These bits here for the die grinder, they don't joke around. Like, that thing works. Unfortunately, these Harbor Freight die grinders don't necessarily work, but yeah, get yourself one of them. They mean business, and they last. And you won't be pulling wires out of your shirt for 2 weeks, your shoes, or it gets everywhere. These goddamn wire wheels. All right, that's it. Call it a wrap. We'll catch you on the next one. Hope everyone's doing well. And the Bluick says good night.
Oh, what has it done? Oh, wow. That's very good. A bit more.
You're ruining my thing.